Hello, Jen here, and I have a Mini Kit Monday layout for you. Actually, I have two Mini Kit Monday layouts for you. I'm going to do two videos today because I didn't get my video up last week. I didn't get my layout done in time, kind of had to scramble a little bit. It was just all the craziness of finishing school with the kids, and dance recitals were getting done and stuff like that. And so I wanted to make sure that I had 5 layouts done for this month because there were 5 Mondays in the month. So I'm posting both of them today, and they are a little bit late too because I'm back to work today. So, you know, that's life, but I love how both of them turned out, so I wanted to make sure that I got them all posted. So I'm using my boy collections, and I started with some black cardstock because I feel like each of the pictures has quite a large kind of spot of black in it, just from Francis's t-shirt and his sweater, his lacrosse sweater and stuff like that. And so I decided to go with the black as my background, and then I went into my Wild Child from Pink Paisley 6x6 paper pad, and I just picked out 3 different patterns that I liked. I kind of wanted a red because the jersey for his lacrosse team is red and black, and then I didn't really care after that. I just wanted maybe 2 more kind of bold patterns, so the red and the green are kind of more bold, and then I really like that blue chevron, the blue green cream colored chevron, and so I wanted maybe something else that had a little bit of direction to it, so I picked that white and blue striped paper. And yeah, I just cut them down to 4x4 squares, and I wanted to just do a little bit of kind of tone on tone with all of these different fun little embellishments inside of each of those squares. So I started with the flare from the Cocoa Vanilla Boys Rule collection, and just kind of am going through all of the embellishments that I have pulled out. I don't really care too much if I'm mixing up all my different collections because there is lots of blue and red and greens in all of these collections. So it just makes for a really kind of fun, interesting little clusters in each square if there's little bits and pieces from various different collections. So I've done the stickers from the Little Dude collection from Simple Stories, and then those were puffy stickers from that same collection, and these are now stickers from the Wild Child collection. And so I just pulled a bunch of stuff out, and now I'm going to go ahead and place all of this down. I started kind of pulling things out, but a lot of them are stickers, and so I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself to where all of those stickers were really sticking down and I wasn't going to be able to pull them back up. And I'm just finding center here. It didn't have to be perfect, but this to me was the easiest way to kind of make sure that everything was in the middle of the page and kind of as centered as possible. So I'll go ahead and stick those down, and I'm not going to do anything too fancy with my picture. I thought maybe I would cut these 4 pictures apart and go ahead and kind of stick one into each of those little squares and do sort of like a grid that way. But I decided to keep them together and kind of keep them closer to the center. And so pretty much I'm just going to put this foam on the back, and then I'm going to kind of center them and line up the lines so that the center of the picture is right in the center of my little grid. And then I can go ahead and start sticking all this stuff down. So this frame is chipboard, and it's from the Cool Dude collection. Is that what it's called? Cool Dude? Is that what I've been saying? I don't know. From Cocoa Vanilla. So I tried to get, if I could, I tried to get at least one of each thing, like one type of embellishment into each square. So puffy sticker and chipboard, and then these flat stickers, and then the Wild Child stickers are more of that kind of glossy sticker. not everything fits everywhere. I only had the one flare that I felt worked really good. It's mostly blue and white, kind of a mottled blue and white with these flecks of lime green in it. So I thought that worked really good in that lime green and blue square. But I think it looks really good in the end. It's kind of nice when you have a few of the same things that carry from one square to the other, but then each one kind of maybe has just some little unique element as well, because that's what your eye is going to catch first, and it kind of helps your eye to follow around the page, and then you can take in all of the pictures. And this was Fox's last day of lacrosse last year, so the one picture is just him in his sweater and all ready to go, and then one with his coach, and then a picture of him kind of walking away with his lacrosse stick slung over his shoulder, and then some ice cream to celebrate his last game. He was so sad that this season didn't end up happening. He got to the first assessment, so it was just kind of like dipping your toes in the water and then being told that you had to leave the beach kind of thing. So it was really hard for him to have just that little taste, and then everything shut down and he wasn't able to continue. And lacrosse, unfortunately, is just one of those sports where you kind of can't avoid the closeness. Obviously, they've got to, they do hit each other, and they've got to try to get the ball away from each other and stuff, and they're in a dressing room together, so really there wasn't any way to continue that on. So he is really lucky that he was able to keep going in dance. Their dance studio did such a phenomenal job of just creating this really amazing online world almost. All of the classes were online, in a bit of a different format. So Kaylin especially danced with a sort of more mixed up group of kids, so that teachers were able to kind of fit in everybody, and it was kind of nice because they got to dance with kids that they don't normally dance with, and a lot of recreation kids got to dance along with some of the competitive kids, which is kind of exciting, especially when they're a little bit younger and kind of get to experience that. And they had scavenger hunts, and I taught scrapbooking class, which was really fun. The little ones that were in my class were so cute, and I did a layout for them about, Thanks to Dance was the title, and then they could fill in all the things that they were thankful for dance about and stuff, so it was really cute. And yeah, it was just, they did such a great job of kind of keeping the kids engaged and keeping them going, like just giving them that motivation and giving them some structure and stuff like that. So even though he couldn't play lacrosse, he was very lucky to still have that available. And Sebastian got to play along too. Sebastian doesn't dance, but the studio let all of the classes, they just were open to anybody. So even Sebastian got to play along and do a bunch of stuff. So that was really good too. So I'm just kind of randomly putting things in places. I really love doing layouts like this where you kind of have to fit everything together almost like a puzzle piece. And so there's really no way to kind of explain what I'm doing, because each square would be totally different depending on what you have available. So each time you recreated a layout like this, it's going to look completely different. You just take all of those elements and kind of, you just fit them in. They're just a little puzzle, and if something looks good in that spot, then that's where you plunk it down. Isn't it Adele, I think, from Inky Quill that always says, like, stick and plunk or whatever? It just, when the sticker touches the paper, that's where it ends up, and then the next element that comes along, you just have to find that little spot that you can kind of nestle it in and squish it in and kind of make everything look good. And the thing is, I think some people could overthink it and really stress out about it, but you really don't have to, because everything, at least in this layout, everything's monochromatic, except for that the word fun up in the top there where the red is. I did struggle to find red elements, so I went ahead and put that tag in there because it took up a lot of space. And I'm okay that it's actually got a big blue dot in it. That's totally fine with me. But if you were doing this in the same sort of monochromatic way, it's really hard to screw it up because the colors just all kind of blend into the background, and so you don't really see those pockets of space, white space, or whatever you want to call it. Everything just kind of looks like it's meant to be there because it is the matching color. So just, you know, you just go for it. Let your gut take over and you just stick it all down. But now, I thought it looked kind of funny just having the squares in the center of the layout, and I needed something to do on the edge. You guys know me, I always feel like I need to have some kind of border, or I need something that kind of closes my layout, and I really couldn't figure out what to do, but I had all these little strips of paper left over from cutting my squares down, so I decided just to take them and kind of build a frame around the outside. And basically my thought process for this was just I took the colors or the patterns that were opposite to the squares. So down at the bottom you can see that I have the kind of red pattern, and then that chevron pattern, the blue and green chevron pattern. Then on the left hand side I have the blue stripes and the red pattern. Now up here at the top I'm going to have the green and the blue stripes, and then over on that right hand side it will be the green and the chevron. So I just kind of, yeah, I went with opposites. I tore it up because that gives a little bit of depth and a little bit of interest to it, and I think this would look really good if you wanted to sew it. I just didn't pull out my sewing machine, and it's still not quite working right, and so I thought I wasn't going to bother with it. I just kind of left it the way it is. But definitely if you wanted to recreate this, I recommend sewing. I could have hand stitched it. You're right, I was being a little bit lazy. I definitely could have done that. But yeah, maybe I will do this again sometime and do some stitching in it. I think that would look really good too. And so I'm just going to cut off my edges here and kind of clean everything up. And then that's it. I ruffle up the edges a little bit just to give them a little bit of depth and kind of give them something a little bit interesting. But I love the way that this looks. I think it turned out really good. And I love how the colors really pop against that black background. So if you have not checked out Mini Kit Mondays, it's a Facebook challenge group. Please go and check them out. The link is down below. You can go and play along with June's challenges. It's boy themed and outdoor themed, and there are sketches and all kinds of fun stuff. So please go and check them out because you could win a prize. And again, the links are all down below to everybody else who plays along with Mini Kit Mondays. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Until next time, happy scrapping. Stay safe. Bye.